Okay, we're standing in most probably what is the best site for Sauvignon Blanc in South Africa. There are a couple of reasons to motivate that quite rash statement. One is the climate. We're quite close to the coast. Hopefully you can pan out just now and have a look at the sea in the distance. And then secondly, most importantly, is the soil. If you look at the dirt here, it's absolutely fantastic, deep red decomposed granite, which is amazing water holding capacity. So these vineyards can rely on winter rainfall, and we do not have to administer any supplementary irrigation. And fortunately this winter that just passed has been a very good winter. Tace, how much rain did we have here this winter?
So over 650 millimeters, plus minus.
Okay, so we had about 3/4 meters of rain, 650, 700 millimeters of rain, which is sufficient to replenish the soil water, groundwater, and is enough to see this crop through. Now this year there was a transition phase where it used to be bush vine before, and we had problems with the bush vines because we had a bit of reflective heat from the soil, and so we elevated the vines. It took a 2-year process. I'll show you some vineyards down there which are in transition at the moment. We eventually had to bring up one strong vine to the top, and then we split it at the wire into a split cordon. So we now got a normal split cordon pruning system where we spread the crop out over the entire width or length of the wire. As you can see, if you look closely into the canopy, we do not have a very high crop here at the moment. Crop level, Taste, I'd say this is about 5 ton maybe.
Yeah, it's varying between 5 and 7, depends on where we are in the blocks.
Okay, well, if this vine would be sort of, if the whole crop vineyard looked like this would be about 5 ton. Yeah. So we're somewhere between 5 and 7 ton per hectare. And this year with a very wet winter, we can see we had a lot of growth, a lot of vigor, and this is about the 2nd or 3rd topping the action that we've done here. Yeah. So we've been able to stunt the growth, and there's quite a lot of side shoots, which you can see coming out of here at the moment, all the way down. And these side shoots give you a lot of young leaves, new young leaves in the canopy, which in turn will help with the precipitation of acid in the grapes. So we're expecting to see grapes with nice, good acidity. And this year, Charles, I think we're going to hang in with the sugar a bit. Last year we were a bit rushed. Last year in the vintage we had a lot of problem with the rain, and we were under pressure to make decisions on should we take the risk of allowing the grapes to ripen a bit further, or should we pull it in for safety's sake. And we made the call to bring the stuff in, I think, prematurely because of the risk of rain and rot. And this year we're going to, hopefully, we've got 3 weeks to go, we'll be able to sit it out and the weather will play along. By the way, I was looking through some accounts.
I am very well aware of that one.
And just to give you an idea, I haven't got my reading glasses on with me, but maybe Suzanne, you can help me. The month for the action here on the farm was how much?
January.
For January was how much?
338.
Oh, that's what?
338,000 rand.
Okay, so that was for labor. So just tell us what you did for 338,000 rand. What did you do here?
Yeah, half of that was for machines.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did these machines do? Just take me through it so I can understand what we're...
Basically, we went up with our spraying volume. So our price went up for the running of the spray tractor.
Yeah.
We went to 750 liters where we used to spray at 500, so it takes us longer to get through the blocks.
So you put down more water per hectare to get better cover.
Yeah, and to keep the vines healthy, because it's a very high disease pressure of powdery mildew for this year.
Okay, which I see you've
achieved
that the vineyards are nice and healthy and clean.
Yeah. And then we saved on a lot of expenses earlier on by not wanting to do actions because we had such a lot of moisture in the soil, so the weeds kept on coming. So we kept it back, and now we just mowed the whole vineyard through, and you can see the straw and the cover crop that's all nicely mowed.
This mulching also does help to keep the moisture in.
Keeps the moisture in, so we knock that down and get it tidy before harvesting. We had a lot of labor here to tuck in all these shoots to get a canopy nice and straight up so that you can utilize your trailer system
Okay, so what you did, in other words,
we went
before
tucking in, yeah.
beforehand, this would have been all the vines, the shoots would have been out.
Would have been out and it would have been flopping over, so we had to go back and we had to tuck everything in.
Because
You don't cut it off.
No, you can't cut it
You
off.
leave it on and you...
Because the problem here, we have a lot of wind, and then
A lot of wind,
it
it blows
blows the shoots out of the trellis.
Yeah, and then we didn't break over Christmas and New Year's like we normally do. We kept 2 machines running just by tipping it
On the top.
and creating side shoots and keeping the
There's
acidity
active
high.
growing tips here,
Yeah.
Okay.
which is very
So-
important.
So we just kept on tipping it at the top. So
What
that's
was that,
why
Charles? You were talking about the active
These
growing?
active growing side shoots, that's as Charles explained, for the transition of the acid levels and the sugar content, and get the balance of the chemical composition right.
And you know what I also find
That's very
surprising,
important.
if you look over the canopy, I think you've done a very good job with the wet here, not to get very big leaves. And we've got a nice even spread of smaller leaves, and they're all in very good condition, which is great. It looks well.
also due to the continuous tipping.
The tipping helped do that.
Because we kept on top of the tipping, not letting the
As
shoots
they
get
go.
too long. So we rather kept on tipping, except previous years we might have done it, saved a little bit, and then we came through and topped.
Okay, now you
And
just
then
get
you only have old leaves and you don't have a lot of young leaves.
so this year we made a concerted effort to get more younger leaves
younger
in the,
leaves,
in the
keep the
canopy.
acidity high, yeah.
And that is how you justify the 330,000 rand account.
About here,
I'm the proud owner of a whole lot of young leaves, which is great.
335,000 rand.
I'm very happy with that. Now I've got all the young leaves. Now you finish with your job and now hand it over to Charles. Now I've given you 330,000 rands worth of young leaves, and
a
I've
bit of
given you a
food.
vineyard in immaculate condition. Now, how are you going to deal with this challenge moving forward?
Firstly, I don't think we need to be hasty, because as you explained last year with the rain that we had, we probably picked it a budding and a half earlier due to the afraid that we had some rot. I would suggest that we have to be patient this year and start picking plus minus around about 23 bulling.
Yep.
Get the optimal ripe flavors on the fruit.
And just tell me, if you get 23.5 budding, we're going to be pushing the alcohol probably up to
To
about
about
13,
13 and
13
a half.
And that's acceptable.
That's acceptable.
Suzanne,
I'll
you haven't
rather
had
go
any
for
feedback from
13
the markets that with Sauvignon Blanc they maybe want to keep the alcohol a bit lower?
No, I think 13, 13 and a half is
That's
acceptable,
perfect.
very much so.
I don't think that we should
No, I
break the
don't think so.
14 barrier
No,
at all.
no,
so
no.
there must be a
Keep it
concerted
Not more
below-
than 13 now.
not more than
Not
13
more.
and a
Keep it
half.
below 14,
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Charlotte,
looking-
what's
I'd
the
rather
daily,
go
what's
for
the-
13 and a half than 12 and a half and have a decent wine.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's priority number.
What is your average daily temperature, for instance, during summer for this vineyard?
When they
February
talk about
temperature.
daily average
Yeah.
temperature, that's day and night, and
That's
that's about 21 degrees
Yeah.
centigrade.
21.
That's
The
right.
average of the day and night together.
Da- this specific site, and there's one site in Elgin, that's the two coolest growing sites.
And how
South
does that differ from Malmesbury, for instance?
No, it's about 1.5, just below 2 degrees. And 1 degree viticulture wise has a massive impact
on the quality.
on the quality. A massive.
And
And
that's why
The
this
people
is
on the
cool
street
vineyard.
doesn't sound a lot, 1 degree's difference, but it has a massive impact.
Actually, if
On
you work in
average.
the vineyard the whole day, 1
Yeah.
degree also feels a lot.
Yeah,
I was going
sure.
to tell you something else, Suzanne. When we laid out this vineyard, we had put up a weather station, and we planted the rose, and maybe Crystal can be able to get us a view from overview of the whole vineyard.
Yeah.
We planted the rose to take full advantage of the sea breezes.
Yeah.
So we
you
changed
can
all the
feel
row
it, right?
direction so that the wind can move
Yeah.
through the rose and almost funnel the cool air down the
You
road.
can feel it as you stand
You
here.
just can feel
Yeah.
it as it chills down. In fact, you can almost put on a jersey.
We use satellites actually for some of the road directions, certain vineyards, and the prevailing wind on this side is southwest, which comes from that direction. So the block adjacent to us is planted southwest
Yeah.
direction of the road.
Okay, so to summarize, we've got 3 weeks to go.
At least.
At least 3 weeks to go.
If Charles doesn't
You're not-
rush
I'm not
us,
going. I'm withdrawing myself. I think my job is done with a 330,000
Yeah,
rand
if-
leaf investment.
Yeah,
I'm
if
out
you,
of
if you
the
just
picture.
pay the account, then we're
I'm going to
fine.
pay the account and I'm going to get out of here. I think we've got 3-4 weeks to go, and if everything goes according to plan, it could appear to be our greatest Sauvignon Blanc vintage that I can
for sure.
recall, for sure.
if Chris can just take
Can you
away.
judge the
Suzanne is
picture?
quite long, if she can stand in front of it. That always excites me about this site, is there's no irrigation. You'll find hard to get a canopy in Stellenbosch, Paarl, or even Constantia without irrigation. That looks like this canopy. Look at the growth. If Suzanne or Chris, taste. Look at the height of the canopy, and that's without any irrigation.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.